The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy.
You are listening to Canary Cry News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Today's March 20th, 2019. This week, AI, EU, and Aurora Rising 2021. My name's Basil.
And this is Gonz. Welcome to the podcast where we talk about news with Canary Cry Views.
That's right, everybody. It's a new week. It's a new day, Gonz. I'm feeling great today. You know why?
Why?
I mean, it's not funny or like part of the show or anything, but I went on a bike ride this morning.
Nice.
It's crazy.
Good for the thighs.
It's crazy. It's good for the thighs. It's finally warming up enough to do it. So I'm feeling good. I got the blood pumping. And you know who else has the blood pumping?
Who's that?
Flippy.
Oh, okay.
That was not a very good transition there. This has nothing to do with Flippy having blood pumping. But for those who don't know, Flippy is our amorous name for the development of robot arms, disembodied robot arms that are going to take our jobs and steal our women.
Really? I suppose so. That goes both ways, I think.
I don't know what that means. But so anyways, this is a very short Flippy update. Nothing too exciting. But in the subtle terms of the development and progress of Flippy and other robot abilities, this is a video. It's actually on YouTube, so it's not very exciting. But precise robot manipulation with never-before-seen objects. And you may think, never-before-seen objects? What does that mean? It's just cups and shoes and stuff. Never-before-seen by the robot. Usually with artificial intelligence and teaching Flippy or other robots to manipulate objects in the real world. There's lots of training, lots of... oh my gosh.
Wow.
That scared me.
Yeah,
my cat has been on a rampage today.
Yeah, your cat. I thought it was Flippy.
My cat pulled out, right before the show, pulled out the cord of my keyboard, and now she just knocked over a stack of boxes. Okay.
Maybe it was,
MIT.
I thought it was Flippy that got upset that his theme music didn't get played, so.
Oh, yeah, this is a Flippy update.
Flippy update.
Do you want fries with that?
There you go.
I can't
now
believe
he's happy.
Thank you. That's the Flippies are revolting. Anyway, so MIT is and have been developing a robot arm that can see an object for the very first time and grab it and manipulate it and put it on a shelf.
Mostly cups and shoes.
Mostly cups and shoes, which is not super exciting. However, it is a huge step forward in having robot butler. So now we don't have to train our robot butler to like know the size, shape, dimensions, weight, and everything of every item in our house. We can bring home a cup from the store, and the robot butler will know what to do with it, which is pretty big leap.
Little nuances, little steps in the direction of the robot takeover.
This is very subtle, not very exciting Flippy update, but actually a huge step in robotics. So very cool. Yeah. But let's get to some more exciting news, Gonzo. Are you ready?
Yep.
All right. This is reported from RT.com. Sick of human politicians? 25% of Europeans would prefer artificially intelligent government. More bureaucracy, please.
I'm for the robots.
That's exactly what we need. And the article reads, more than a quarter of Europeans would rather have their country's important political decisions made by artificial intelligence than their elected and unelected human officials, according to a surprising new survey. Fully 1 in 4 Europeans say they are, quote, somewhat or totally in favor of letting an artificial intelligence make important decisions about the running of their country. Of course, Europe would be into this. A number that climbed to 1 in 3 for the Netherlands, UK, and Germany. Again, Not surprising.
What's going on over there?
Yeah, with the whole Brexit decision and with Merkel and Germany, the whole thing, I could totally see
just
these
give
people.
it to the robots.
I'm surprised that the Americans are not more on board.
Yeah, it's coming.
Yeah. According to a survey by the Center for the Governance of Change, the governance of change. Oh, yikes. A tech-focused research group from IE University in Spain. The figures remained constant across education levels, gender, and political affiliation, indicating either Europeans are abnormally welcoming of their new robot overlords, or they're sick of their human ones.
I'll keep you warm and safe in my people's zoo.
Probably both, actually. I found this very interesting, actually, because usually in a study like this, they'll be like, and the people who thought this were all PhDs and college graduated and white males. They usually try to like pin a group of people down, but they're like, nope, everybody's on board with the beast system. Continuing. Spoiler alert, it's likely the latter. While the survey uncovered high levels of technological anxiety across all demographics, even the fear of having one's job stolen by robots doesn't hold a candle to Europeans' antipathy for their political masters. Yikes. Who've shown themselves all too willing to throw their constituents under the self-driving bus in pursuit of power. Whether it's France's Emmanuel Macron attempting to outlaw protest and bar critical media from his press conferences, or Theresa May repeatedly serving up unappetizing Brexit deals in a reverse psychology effort to transmute leave into stay. Wow, that might be the most poignant criticism of Brexit I've ever heard. Theresa May just reverse psychologying everybody into staying in the European Union. Then they have a little graph here, which is really fascinating to me. And again, it says 25% of Europeans are somewhat or totally in favor of letting an artificial intelligence make important decisions about the running of their country. France is at 25%. Germany. Yeah, 1 in 4. Germany is at 31%.
Close to 1 in 3.
Almost 1 in 3. Ireland, which I wasn't expecting to be on the list, is at 29%. Italy at a solid 30%. Here was the real shocker for me. The Netherlands was at 43%. Almost half of all people in what is happening in the Netherlands that they just are like, yep, please give us a robot, bring the robot overlords. And those who are paying attention, the Netherlands is having a big pushback against their socialist government and immigration and stuff like that. There's a lot of news coming out of the Netherlands, a lot of unrest in what is actually traditionally considered one of the happiest countries on earth.
Yeah.
That happiness index, they're usually in the top. Those Scandinavian countries kind of got it on lockdown. And the Netherlands, I may be wrong, but I believe that they scored pretty high on that last time I saw it. But now they're just like, nope, we don't like the humans being in charge here. And to finish out the list, we got Portugal at 19%, Spain at 26%, and the UK at 31%. 31% of people in the UK think Siri would be better at Brexit than Theresa May. Continuing on, framing the results as a, quote, a significant questioning of the European model of representative democracy, and claiming... Gosh,
I can hear your cat
is crazy today.
Yeah,
Get out of here.
Really doesn't want you to tell the story.
Very upset. She doesn't want the robots to take over. Okay. Framing the results as, quote, a significant questioning of the European model of representative democracy, and claiming it, quote, challenges the very notion of popular sovereignty, CGC Executive Director Diego Rubio avoided mentioning that more and more European citizens are finding the EU itself might be challenging, quote, the very notion of popular sovereignty. Despite attempts to blame such Euroscepticism on Russia, parties like Italy's Five Star Movement and the Netherlands' PVV have ridden a Eurosceptic wave to power. while status quo proponents like Macron, May, and Germany's Angela Merkel languish at record low approval ratings. Despite the dim view some take of the future prospects of human rule, quote, over 2/3 of Europeans of all ages believe that, if not appropriately controlled, new technologies will cause more harm than good to society in the coming decade, end quote. So at least 2/3 of the people are still skeptical of robot overlords, which is good, but we're losing polling numbers, Gons. Humans are declining in popularity. IE University survey found, and between 2/3 and 3/4 of respondents support, quote, strong policy measures to limit automation. Whether those involved a tax on corporations that replace humans with automation, restricting robots to dangerous jobs, or compensating those who lose their jobs with automation. It all seems fair. The threat is far from abstract. Most Europeans are concerned about robots taking over the majority of human jobs, researchers found, while nearly half fear their own employer will fall before the rise of our new silicon rulers. Most believe their education didn't prepare them adequately for the fast pace of technological change either. Over 2/3 are worried or very worried that their social lives too will go wholly digital, an unappetizing prospect in an era of increasingly stringent online speech regulations. Interestingly enough, more than half of respondents in every country except Spain and Portugal support banning, quote, political and ideological content from social networks in order to protect democracy. Oh, man. Seems like Europe is having a real identity crisis right now.
Yeah, it's been brewing for a while.
I guess it's the whole world, really.
Yeah, right now.
Okay, here we go. To close it out,
The final punchline.
People are disillusioned with governments, yet at the same time ask them to tackle the societal and economic negative effects that emerging technologies might have, the author wrote, pointing out that the paradoxical nature of the results. Since those same emerging technologies include AI, are Europeans expecting their robot masters to regulate themselves once they've taken power? Ooh.
So what do we do?
I don't know. We live in America, so they're not our problem. Anyways, there you go. I think America would be extremely low on that chart, but who knows?
You know, when it all depends on how a survey like that would be presented to the public.
Well, you know, that's the thing. If you took statistics, a good statistics class in college, the first thing you learn is that statistics lie. You can make statistics say whatever you want. So
it's the bane of my existence.
Yeah. But Gons, moving on, because we got a huge story to break here. Let's do it.
Speaking of the beast system. Beast system.
That was like not even a lob. That was you like stumbling with the baton, and I just come over and take it out of your hand.
We put so much pressure on that segue. Right, just a little peek behind the curtain. We do very, very light planning before the show. And the last thing we said to each other before we started recording was, yeah, okay, I'll finish the European thing and I'll just alley-oop it over to the beast system jingle.
that was the result right there.
My alley-oop was let's do it.
A stumble. A slow
I'm sorry.
tumble.
That's what makes this show fun. We're all having fun here.
All right. Yeah, this is a big story. Okay, so
let's do it.
Phys.org. New Argonne supercomputer built for next-gen AI will be most powerful in U.S. The most powerful computer ever built in the U.S. will make its home at Argonne National Laboratory in 2021, the U.S. Department of Energy and Intel announced today. Aurora, the United States' first exascale computer, will combine unprecedented processing power with the growing potential of artificial intelligence to help solve the world's most important and complex scientific challenges.
Yeah, this is just before you go on here.
Yeah.
This is actually a big deal. We talk about supercomputers quite a bit. We kind of track what's going on. And this is, I don't know, I look at a lot of supercomputer stuff coming out, and this one is the one, I think.
Well, it's definitely the springboard into that world.
It's the next step.
That's the next step. As an exascale computer, Aurora will be capable of a quintillion or 1 billion calculations per second.
Yeah.
50 times quicker than today's most powerful supercomputers. But the impact of the system goes beyond faster and larger data processing to new frontiers in scientific inquiry, supercharging modern artificial intelligence approaches for finding new cancer treatments, searching for dark matter, mapping the human brain, and other massive breakthroughs.
And also ruling the European Union from America.
From the U.S., yeah. We will run. Hey, you guys want robots? We will be your robots.
Hey, we got your European Union Prime Minister or whatever we have over here. Move over, Merkel.
What if that's how it happens? You got all these robots that start taking over like the halls of government in those countries, but it's actually just people like...
It's all connecting to the cloud located in the U.S.
Yeah, and you got people in avatar suits over here running those robots.
That would be too perfect, actually.
You would get in on that.
Yeah, I would get in on that. I would, yeah.
Let's not talk about what you would do.
Oh my gosh.
Upon delivery, researchers will be able to use Aurora through the leadership computing facilities at Argonne, a U.S. Department of Energy laboratory operated by the University of Chicago. And it goes into some stuff here. It's pretty long.
The Obamas are posted up right now.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. That's the Obama place.
They went back to Chicago.
It says here, quote, "There's tremendous scientific benefit to our nation that comes from collaborations like this one with the Department of Energy, Argonne National Laboratory, industry partners Intel and Cray, and our close association with the University of Chicago." It's quite the crew they got going on over there.
Yeah, a lot of partnerships.
Yeah. Argonne's Aurora system is built for next-generation artificial intelligence and will accelerate scientific discovery by combining high-performance computing and AI to address real-world problems such as improving extreme weather forecasting, accelerating medical treatments, mapping the human brain, developing new materials, and further understanding the universe. And that's just the beginning.
Further understanding the universe.
Yeah, it's the elixir of life.
Yeah.
Mapping the brain, personalizing cancer treatment. Through early science projects designed to probe the future capabilities of Aurora, Chicago researchers in material science, cosmology, and neurobiology have already begun interrogating the new discoveries that this one-of-a-kind machine makes possible. Quote, "Aurora will enable us to explore new frontiers in artificial intelligence and machine learning," said Narayanan Bobby Kasturi.
I love that. This guy's name is Narayanan Kasturi, but, no in America, he's probably showed up at the lab and was like, "I am Narayanan Kasturi." And they're like, "Okay, well, we'll just call you Bobby."
We'll call you Bobby. It's easier. Assistant professor of neurobiology at the University of Chicago and researcher at Argonne, quote, "This will be the first time scientists have had a machine powerful enough to match the kind of computations the brain can do." So there you go. Yeah. This is the first time people can start interacting with a computing mechanism that's that's matching the brain, the human brain.
Yeah, well, that's been a big sort of high watermark that the people who theorize about supercomputers have been shooting for. The human brain has always been the most powerful computer, and we'll never get to the point. When we get to the point where a computer can do as much calculations as a human brain, that's when we'll hit the singular. That's one of the check marks in the singularity.
The major milestones. Yeah. Because even though the computation is as much as the brain, that doesn't mean there's consciousness there, or some kind of, or maybe it'll appear to be. Who knows? But let me just keep going here. Kasturi's research seeks to reverse engineer the mammalian brain using powerful microscopes to photograph billions of cells and connections and supercomputers to reconstruct the brain's intricate wiring. With such a map, scientists could ask questions about how the structure of the brain drives learning, behavior, and illness, generating new therapies and insights into the nature of humanity. It's pretty bold. But a complete map of the estimated billion connections of the human brain would be no less than the largest data set in human history, requiring extreme scale computation to navigate. Quote, with the help of Aurora, I will be able to piece together millions of two-dimensional images, reconstructing the brain in 3 dimensions to create a map of the human brain, Kasturi said. Quote, imagine the game-changing possibilities of a resource where neuroscientists around the U.S. and ultimately around the world utilize such technologies and infrastructure.
It's almost like you could govern an entire continent.
Doesn't this guy sound like a villain?
Well, it does. You know what I caught actually is usually when you're talking to the leader of a team or, some scientist, it's always, we will be able to do this. Our team could blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I mean, he says right here, with the help of Aurora, I will be able to piece together millions of two-dimension. Like, whoa.
Hey, Bobby, calm down, Bobby.
Chill out, Bobby.
Chill out, Bobby. You're getting a little ahead of yourself.
Yeah, got a real villain vibe there, Bobby. Imagine the game-changing possibilities.
So, specific to the cancer research here, the Cancer Distributed Learning Environment called CANDLE and the Department of Energy and National Cancer Institute collaboration will study the relationship between key molecular pathways, clinical and preclinical drugs, and patient responses to create predictive models that enable patient-level decisions about the best therapy for each individual cancer. The exascale power of Aurora will help researchers rapidly test complex models involving millions of variables, while its optimization for artificial intelligence allows machine learning to automatically select and refine the best performing strategies. I mean, I think they've had to keep cancer alive to allow this kind of, we need the technology to solve this unsolvable disease, Well,
it's interesting, if you take a step back and kind of take a, 35,000 foot view of it, cancer, a horrible thing.
Yeah, of course.
Is just horrible.
Yeah.
And yet it is sort of the instigator. You see movies where it's like this horrible disease was ravaging us, so we had to create this technology to destroy it, but then that technology took over the world.
Yeah,
I mean, that's what we're looking at here with Aurora. Of course, we're being a little inflammatory, saying that, Aurora is going to take over the world. At worst, probably just the EU, just let the EU be the playground. But it's, of course, people will approve of any technological process to get rid of such a horrible thing as cancer.
Yeah. So there's one more aspect to this, which is exploring larger spaces and atoms of the universe. Let me just run through this real quick. Supercomputers are especially well suited for helping scientists explore and simulate enormous data-rich environments, from atomic level processes to the history of the entire universe. Mm-hmm. So they're also doing that. They're mapping everything. This guy here, Salam Habib, director of Argonne's Computational Science Division and senior member of the Kavli Institute for Cosmological Physics at the University of Chicago. He states, quote, these include very realistic simulations of structure formation in the universe, including gravitational and astrophysical effects, how the very smooth initial conditions in the far past transform into a lumpy matter distributions we see today. Some simulations that took months will be performed in days, and more interestingly, some large and complex simulations that could not be done at all due to memory and performance limitations will become possible.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah, that's insane. And so, I mean, they're going to be pretty much a reverse engineering creation too, or they're going to try to.
Yeah. You know what I think, what I love about this? They have a picture of it, which I'm sure is just sort of like a sales picture or something. But they have a picture of it, and it really goes back to the days of when, IBM calculator machines were as big as train cars. and they would. I mean, this thing is humongous.
Yeah,
they have a picture of it. It's like
thing.
It's just a huge black box that is probably as big as a bus.
Rows, yeah.
And I love how every new generation of game-changing technology has to just be humongous.
It's got to take up like more and more space on the Earth.
It needs to be physically imposing for us humans to respect it.
They are the modern temples,
Oh,
yeah.
Nice
the
one.
end of this article states, we chose the name Aurora because it encompasses our aspirational goal to create a system which in some sense can illuminate the world.
Oh,
illuminate the world. This marks
the
a turning
light
point.
bringer, Aurora.
Well, yeah. This marks a turning point in the history of supercomputing as artificial intelligence becomes integrated into traditional high-performance computing systems at the largest scale known to man. And yeah, Aurora, if you look at the etymology, is derived from the name of the Roman goddess of the dawn, right? And it who travels from east to west, announcing the coming of the sun, the sun, sun, that is. And there you go. It's Aurora is rising in the west. We in the west here.
Aurora
the light from the east, arising in the west. I mean, the symbology is just out of control.
Yeah, no, that's it. I mean, that's if we, we're always keeping our eye out for the new technological god. And here it is. It's Aurora. She's big, she's beautiful, and she's here to fix the EU.
And completely map everything, the brain, the outer space.
Yeah, she's going to solve the mysteries of the universe, which is what we obviously are all waiting for.
Interesting.
So that's great. Well, there you go. That's big news.
Big news.
So we're going to be keeping an eye on Aurora. She's set to launch in 2021, which puts her on track for the 2030 agenda.
Yep, a big assistant in that process,
Yeah. Well, you need it. You need about 10 years to fully implement, the new Overlord system.
Yeah.
All right, Guns. Well, hey, we missed the Nephilim update last week. You got one for us this week?
We do.
Nephilim update.
Fragrance. Fragrantica.com. Nephilim Alchemia. Perfumes for men and women.
What?
A dark, earthy union of aged iron.
Oh, no.
Distilled patchouli and black oud with a mineralistic accord of gypsum flower and brimstone.
Nephilim Alchemia. Wow. I love that. We got to get our hands on some of this stuff.
Yeah.
Wow. That's what you wear when you're going to the Black Mass or something. You want to smell good.
Did you wear your Nephilim Alchemia? I forgot mine. You got some more on you?
Hello, Melchior. Are you wearing your Nephilim Alchemia? It smells so divine.
Yeah, why would they have to ask? They would know. They would just smell you, and they would know if you have it or not.
Wow, that's a good one. Good one.
What if that's kind of the
Where's that available?
Society?
Where can we get this?
That's Fragrantica.com.
Okay.
/perfume/alchemia perfume/Nephilim.
Okay, there you go. There's your URL. Find it in the show notes. Pick this up, and we're waiting for our check. Nephilim Alchemia.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thanks for listening to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. Here's the thing. You don't hear this stuff on your regular daily news, your CNNs, your Foxes, your I can't think of any other mainstream news outlets. You only get it here at Canary Cry News Talk. Make sure to go out there, share it with somebody, tell them, grab them by the face and rattle their cage.
I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages. Hey, stop that! Don't ever silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy. Leave the bird alone. Never. Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
I'm for the robots.
That's right. Let them know that this is the only place you can get the real important stuff looking into the future, what's going to take over your life. And if you want even more, you can head over to patreon.com/CCNT. That's patreon.com/CCNT, where we post another episode every week. That's double the Canary Cry News Talk with our extended reports. We're about to record one right now. So if you want more Canary Cry News Talk in your life, head over to patreon.com/CCNT. And there's a bunch of other fun rewards. We're going to be talking about military exosuits. Japan is starting the killer robot talk. We're going to be talking about what else? Google sci-fi drama and some interesting gene editing databank stuff. So head over there, patreon.com/CCNT. And that's all for this week, folks. Thank you so much. Make sure to tune in next week. But until then, think outside the cage.